Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
Hello, everyone. This is Nathaniel McQuirk coming to you live from the ASAP Sports Network. This show, All Sports, All Plays, Real Talk, is brought to you in part by Suzanne's Paparazzi's Jewelry. All products are lead and nickel free. All products are $5 special offer for ASAP Sports viewers. Free matching earrings when you buy a necklace. Order now at paparazzisaccessories.com, and the promo code is 160920. So we have a game going on right now. It's Nuggets versus the Lakers. I'm still sticking with my pick. Even it hasn't been, I mean, they haven't, it's still been down 2-0 from the last time. Just give a quick live update. Or actually, it just started, so there's no score yet. But there's something I left out from yesterday's show, and that is how much of there not being a crowd there, like a fan at the stands there, would that affect that matchup, that series?
Mm.
You know, even if you mind, if you mind me going first, Chris.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go first.
I mean, it's kind of weird, without the fans because a lot of the players, they do play, better because the fans, they bring all that energy, with them also. But like I said, man, it's weird. I just hope next season, it'll be better to get everybody back in those arenas because a game like this, you do need the crowd, to bring the energy back, But yeah, man, I miss it, man.
Man, it goes both ways. Like some guys play off the energy, right? You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so some guys play off the energy of the crowd. They feed off that. When the crowd gets hyped, they play better. They put on a show for the fans. But there's also a lot of guys that are playing really good right now because they don't have 30,000 fans screaming at them. That's I'm not taking anything away from TJ Warren.
Yeah.
But you saw when he was just playing basketball, he was able to do his thing. So he went up to Jimmy Butler, but that's a different story. But my point being is that when you don't have 30,000 fans screaming at you, then the game becomes easier. A lot of people don't feed off the crowd compared to the people that play bad under the big lights. They're still under big lights, but when you don't have thousands of fans screaming at you, you might be able to play better. So I think it affects the guys in both ways. To me, I look at this as a glorified AAU tournament. A lot of people have been saying that you all in one spot, you need to hoop. I think it's more of home court advantage than a home court. Home court and crowd, a home court advantage to me does play a big part because you look at the Clippers and the Nuggets. Would the Clippers would have won being up 3-1 if the Nuggets had to play them twice in LA? Who knows? A lot of these teams, they had to go back and play in LA. They had to go back and play these other teams' home stadiums. Like, would the Nuggets be able to beat Utah when they went back to Salt Lake City? We don't know. So the home court advantage, in the playoffs is a big thing. But then playing without no crowd, like I said, it works both ways. Some guys play better without a crowd. Some guys play worse because they feed off energy. But I do think, it's not the biggest deal because at the end of the day, you're still hooping. But, it has a little factor into the game. I will say that.
Just to answer that Utah question, the answer is no, because Utah has only beaten Denver one time. Denver has only beaten Utah one time since 2014, when Utah was home. So that's probably going to be a big no. But I listened to a video from Colin Cowherd.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I disagree with 90% of what he had to say about this, but he did have one point.
Mhm.
A lot of NBA teams, the teams that have been in there for that have players that have been in there for quite a while, they're used to the noise, especially since kids and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the team, so those kind of teams with those no fans and all that kind of stuff, it would probably make sense why they haven't been succeeding this season. But the teams with the younger crowd, with the younger players, excuse me, like the Nuggets, the Heat, and the Celtics, those ones are the ones that took a big into the playoffs, and that's why he said that the Nuggets beat the Clippers. That's not the only reason, in my opinion, but I mean, Anthony Davis has been in there for 8 years. He's not as long as LeBron James, but LeBron has been in there for a while. So that is another reason why I say Lakers lose to the Nuggets in 7.
You tripping, brother? You that no. I'm sorry. Like I said it 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it. The Nuggets do not match up well against the Lakers. The Lakers can guard everything. They have the guys to guard Murray. They have the guys to guard Jokic. Without Jokic going on that crazy 11-point, game, 11-point spread, and he was completely shut down. Nobody has an answer for Anthony Davis, especially in this Western Conference. LeBron is just literally picking and choosing when he wants to go off. You saw he had 20 points in the first half, easily. Like game 3, he's gonna go. Game 4, he's gonna go and completely show his dominance. Nobody on this Nuggets team can guard him. And they have nobody in there to be a paint defender. Plumlee, I love you, my guy. I think you're a good ball player. You're not going to stop Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, LeBron James, all those guys attacking the paint. I'm sorry. Then when you got a savant like Rondo to run the show, LeBron's the general, but you got a backup in Rondo that can do the same thing. This team is way too talented. Danny Green shot 3 for 10 from the 3-point line. Historically, the history says he's a very good shooter. So I seen him go in slumps and pick it up. Can he pick it up? Yes. Caldwell Pope is doing this thing. Kuzma, Caruso, Morris, the list goes on and on and on. I like the Nuggets. I had the Nuggets beating the Clippers before the series even started. But I will say this, the team has not played consistent enough. They're not better than the Lakers. And the Lakers are just going to flat out prove it. There's no disrespect to the Nuggets because I recognize talent. I've been saying Jamal Murray was nice. I've been saying Jokic was nice. But at the end of the day, you're not going to beat this Los Angeles Lakers team, Nate. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. And trust me, if it happens, I will eat the humble pie. But
we're going to have to eat it.
It's not going to happen, Nate.
Nah, the Nuggets is talented, but they're not built, to beat LA.
They're not. Nobody is beat. Nobody has the answer to both LeBron and Anthony Davis. There's one team in the East that has the best chance.
Miami.
But Miami has they has the best chance with Bam and Jimmy and Crowder and those guys, but even that's kind of a question mark. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Oh yeah.
In Game 7, Nuggets against the Clippers, the Nuggets held the Clippers to only scoring 9 3-pointers.
You realize that the Nuggets. You realize that first of all, the Lakers can dominate in the paint, so they're not tripping on 3-point shots. You have LeBron, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, all these guys that dominate inside the 3-point line. They're a very good cutting team. They're not worried about the 3-point line. Nate, I know you want to keep talking about the Clippers. The Clippers were not even close to being as good as this Lakers team, Nate. I'm sorry. The Lakers were going to completely destroy the Clippers. The Clippers, bro, you're going to say, oh, they had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're nothing compared to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They don't even come close, to be honest with you. They don't. LeBron's not going to go 6 for 22 in a closeout game. Anthony Davis is far more talented than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
That's right.
So, therefore, I understand that's your team. Hey, I picked them to beat the Clippers. But reality is, dude, the Lakers is the far most talented team. They're going to beat this Nuggets team. And the Nuggets don't have a chance. You can't go back and say what they did against the Clippers because the Clippers – roster is not, like I said, better than the roster.
But I think LeBron James gonna be ready to go, tonight. He's gonna snap.
He been picking this. He been like, okay, AD, you want to go do your thing, bro. And when I need to take over, I'll take over. And just, you know what I'm saying, he knows when he has to take over. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah, I think they're gonna close it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we saw what happened at the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah,
the Raiders were trailing 10-0, and then they came back and won that game 34-24. So I gotta ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you think the Saints will do this season without Michael Thomas?
Terrible. They're gonna
be trashed.
I've been saying this all season, even towards last year. You know, I give respect to respect is due. Respect on Drew Brees. He got all the stats or whatever, but his arm isn't the same. Right now, he's going to be like how Peyton Manning was towards the end of his career with the Broncos, especially that last season. That defense and that running game is going to have to carry him, okay? Drew Brees' arm talent is not there. No. And without your 5-yard slant master, you're going to have trouble. They have no weapons. Emmanuel Sanders, nowhere to be found. The dude Smith is good, but he's not top receiver ready right now. Jared Cook, he's good, but can he be your number one target? Really? They have to rely on that running game and that defense. You have two guys back there, Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara, who are both capable starters on any team in the NFL. Run the ball 40 times, and your defense need to produce. Drew Brees just need to be Mr. Check Down. He does not be the Drew Brees of 2011, 2012. That's not him no more. This Drew Brees is going to be called Mr. Check Down and Mr. Hand the Ball Off. They're going to be bad without Michael Thomas, and I feel bad for them without Michael Thomas because they're a totally different ball club unless they adapt. The only chance they have to do is adapt and run the ball.
Yeah, man. I agree with you on that. The top of that. I got blocked, by a few Saints fans today because I was bringing up, Drew Brees. When you talk real sports, you can tell who's the real fan and who's not. I watched the game. I'm a real fan. Sometimes you just got to tell them how it is. Drew Brees' arm is not there no more. There's been a few passes I saw last night that I was like, man, his arm strength's not there anymore. I was telling people they need to get Jameis Winston ready. You need to get that man some reps because I don't think Drew Brees is that guy anymore like he once was. And
I think he's going to take over.
Oh yeah, and Jameis Winston, he's not that bad of a quarterback. Yeah, he forces the ball. Yeah, but everybody does. Everybody does that. But
he had no running game. The offense, he was in a kind of wishy-washy situation. I think he's a good quarterback. And when Drew Brees retires, the Saints they have a capable quarterback. There's no way they're going to get a top guy.
No,
I mean it's going to be. Well, I'm not going to say there's no way. They can go out and try to do something in free agency. But hey, why not have Jameis Winston learn behind Drew Brees, learn with Sean Payton, and just give him the keys? Because they're not going to give it to Taysom Hill. He's not a starting quarterback in his league. So just give the keys to Jameis Winston, man, because Drew Brees ain't it no more.
Yeah, you got to rely on your running game. You got two good running backs back there.
Yes,
hand them the ball.
Emmanuel Sanders did not get a catch until a minute left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he ain't gonna get one Sunday either because Alexander gonna be on him.
I feel bad for that team right there.
Yeah.
But my question is, if Emmanuel Sanders did that poorly, do you expect for there to be another guy, another receiver, to be like a replacement? Do you expect him to get benched?
The only other weapon you got Sanders and you got the Smith, unless you go out, try to find somebody that hasn't played in a while. I don't understand. I don't know what they're going to do, man. They're in a rough spot right now. I feel for them. That they need help. They just listen. Mike Thomas is out. We all know that. Just run the ball. You have a very good O-line. Just run that ball. Run the ball 40. You have two running backs back there that can both run 20 plus times a game.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara, everybody, yes, he's very good in the receiving game, but the dude is strong as the ox. He's shifty. He's fast. He's a running back now. Put that man back in the backfield. Give it to him 20 times. Give it to Latavius Murray 20 times. Then, let Drew Brees be Mr. Checkdown because you're not going to go out and get a big receiver right now. You're just going to have to play with what you have. Somebody's going to have to step up. You're going to have to run, screens. You're going to have to run, RPOs, quick passes. The quick pass game is going to save them because without Michael Thomas, man, like on offense, they're going to struggle. That's all. That's the best way I can put it. They're going to struggle.
Yeah, because they showed last night, just like with Deshaun Watson. We showed it him too. You need your big play receiver.
Now Deshaun Watson is a different story. To me, he has all the receivers. He had the O-line though. Like he had. Okay. They don't have the big. I understand they don't have Michael. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins no more. But you have Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Kenny Snills, Randall Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
That's a decent. That's better than a lot of teams receiving. Yeah. But it's that O-line that's really going to be. Yeah, bad.
Since with what's happening so far in the NFC South, this is my last question before we move on to the next topic, and that is, who do you expect to win to the NFC South with all their situations going on?
Man,
why don't you go first, Nate?
Yeah.
I'm stuck between. It's probably going to be Tampa Bay, but I can also see Atlanta.
You see Atlanta?
Huh?
Oh, you on your own with it. You on your own with Atlanta, man. Every game for them is going to be shootout because they have no defense. To me, it's between the Saints and the Buccaneers, and it's hard. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards the Saints in any way, shape, or form, even though they fold in the playoffs every year.
They choke.
But from what I'm seeing between the two quarterbacks, it's going to come down to them, right? Because they both have. So here's when I look at this team, right? They both have the running backs. You got Fournette, you got Jones, then you got Kamara and them. Then when I look at the weapons, Tampa Bay obviously has the better weapons, but New Orleans has the offensive line to protect their old quarterback. Tampa Bay doesn't have that. Then when I look at the defense, the Buccaneers have a dominant front seven, but then their back end is questionable. The Saints have a very good defense. So for me, I think it's gonna come down to quarterback play. Right now, I want to say Tampa, but I will not be surprised if New Orleans wins. But I'm going with Tampa. From my gut feeling, I think Tampa probably will win that division.
Yeah,
I think Tampa. I can see Atlanta, but that would also depend on how long Michael Thomas is going to be out.
Man, he should have been fired. He should have been fired as soon as them Atlanta players sat there and watched that ball. I sat there and I watched it. Not one of them players
looked at it, bro. They just looked at it. I don't know what they were doing.
I'm like, oh no. And he should have got fired after that. The whole team should have been fired. But I did have Atlanta at first. I said, I gave them that chance, when they lost the Seahawks. I said, man, Atlanta do look pretty good. So I'm gonna get an opportunity. Boy, when it came to that game against Dallas, I said, no, I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay, but New Orleans is right behind them. You know. So it's going to be a close one, but they do play the Saints again, pretty soon. But I think I'm going to go with Tampa. Tampa do got some weapons on offense. The secondary, they're busted. You can play them all day, but to run against them, it'll be kind of tough. But it's going to come between the Saints and the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I agree.
So real quick before we move on to talk about Joe Burrow a little bit, if those of you that haven't seen the game, we do have that clip, that that punt return clip that we were talking about. It was recorded on the Monday night post game show. In case you missed that, you can go ahead and check out to see how crazy that was. That play was. So. How would you rate Joe Burrow's season so far?
Oh, man,
I'm going to go.
He's doing good. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Go ahead, take it away, Big Shaw.
Joe Burrow right now, he's doing good. I give him a high rating right now. He's doing good. To say got offensive line, he's doing pretty good, and I hope he keeps it up. We're gonna see when Pittsburgh and the Ravens and all them big boys come see him, but. I like to see him, improve, but everybody can improve. But he's doing real good. He's doing real good. He's not forcing nothing, and that's what I like. When nothing's open, he runs, and that's what I like. But you got to get him an offensive line. You have to. If you don't, he's going to be like Archie Manning was with the Saints.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I agree 100%, man. The dude is playing very, very good. He has the poise. I mean. He's a very good quarterback, very accurate. He has weapons around him. But if he's going to be running for his life the entire season, then that's a problem. Get the man offensive line. But other than that, he's playing magnificent. I mean, against the Browns, threw over 60 passes with no interceptions.
Right.
I understand he didn't have the highest completion percentage, but man, 60 passes and no interceptions to me is a remarkable stat. I think the dude is playing very, very good. I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year just because the offense. He's going to be running for his life, and he's still trying to get adjusted. But I will say this: throwing a quarterback to the fire, we've seen a lot of great quarterbacks get thrown into the fire, have bad rookie years, and come out crazy. Just to start off the top of my head, man, Peyton Manning was terrible his rookie year.
He got 13 on the Colts.
Look terrible his rookie year. He was running for his life too.
It was.
So like Joe Burrow, I think he's a very good quarterback. Man, just give him an O-line. Try to keep weapons around him, and he's going to be really good in his NFL. He's going to be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now I asked this. I'm going to ask this to Chris Brown first, since he's an Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Eagles next week. How many catches do you see? I mean, complete passes. How many passes do you see the Joe Burrow getting against your Eagles?
Completions, or how many times he's going to throw?
Both.
I think he's probably going to throw up to 40 times. I mean, that's what this team has to do to win, because that's with a young team like this, that's what they just have to do. I don't know. I'm saying he probably going to complete about 26, 28. Take some check downs or something. But I'm not saying I'm not going to sit up here and say he's going to carve my team up. But I will say he's going to take his check downs and stuff like that. But this is a big game for Philly. I think they're going to play very, very good. Bounce back game against one of the worst teams in the NFL. So I'm not saying Joe Burrow is going to have a great game, but I don't think he's going to have the worst game so far. I think he's going to have a pretty decent game. Not kind of like what he had against the Chargers, in a way.
Yeah.
Big Shaw, what's your opinion on that?
He's gonna throw that ball. He's gonna have to, but he got a good running back in Mixon. So to take some of the pressure off of him. He's gonna. I say Joe Burrow. I'm gonna go with 2 touchdowns, but it's gonna come tough. It ain't just gonna give it to him. He's gonna have to earn it. But to take the pressure off, like I said, just run the ball with Mixon. If you think you're gonna force it or you're nervous, give it to Mixon. Let Mixon bail you out. That's why he's there for. Yeah, he's a great running back. But it's gonna be a good game, though.
Very good game.
I think it's gonna be a good game. Spoiler alert until Thursday. I think that the Bengals are going to barely win that one. I cannot see Eagles.
Listen, you out your mind. All right, now you're being disrespectful. Just because the team is playing 0-2, don't discount all the talent they have on that team. Now, I will say this: if they lose, I'll eat the humble pie. Get you out your mind for picking one of the worst teams in the NFL going against the Eagles. Okay, I understand the team had a bad first 2 games, but they're far too talented going against this Bengals team, man. You out your mind right there. I understand you're going to have hot takes and crazy picks, but you're crazy. But like I said, I will eat the humble pie if they lose, but they're not losing. They're not. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't see the Eagles losing too many games.
12-4 last week. I'm just saying. 12-4.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand. You still have 4. You have 4 bad picks, is what I'm saying.
Is Matt Ryan going to the Hall of Fame?
He got to win games.
Yeah,
but he got to win games.
But by these new standards, then if Eli and them go in there, then he's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he got to win games. You
do.
But what got me, I know if I was a voter, to be honest, he choked. Not just him, the whole team choked in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't have voted for him. I said, "Oh man, you can't do that."
Yeah, I don't think he like. But he's going to have all the stats, but
he got the stats.
Well, what has he really won? You can say everything you want. The defense wasn't there all the time, but man, the type of talent Atlanta had over the years. I mean, Roddy White, Gonzalez, they even brought in Jackson. You had Julio for all them years. Now you got Calvin Ridley.
They should be blowing the roof off people, man.
You gotta hold. He had great. Now I will say this: he had some great games. Now he's had some great games. but sometimes he might not show up all the time. So I think you have to hold him accountable.
Yeah,
you have to hold him accountable.
He's gonna barely make in because Phillip Rivers going. I guarantee he's gonna go.
If Phillip Rivers goes, then there's no way Matt Ryan doesn't go because Matt Ryan at least got to a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt Ryan got to the Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers probably I don't think he's worthy enough to be in the Hall of Fame. I've mentioned this on the show before, but anyway, so that fourth quarter in that Atlanta Falcons game, they didn't score like anything the Falcons did. Is that more on Matt Ryan's fault, or is that more on somebody else's fault on that team?
Matt Ryan.
Quarterback.
It's on a quarterback. It's all like when you play that position, when it's good, it's on you. When it's bad, it's on you. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast. Like even the thing what happened again in the Super Bowl.
That's on your
quarterback. You can argue play calling, but who's out there trying to execute the plays? The quarterback. You don't score, and this Cowboys defense is not good, not compared to how they were previous years. And they have a lot of injuries out there, and you don't score in the entire fourth quarter with all those weapons. All on the quarterback, man. I'm sorry. No. Who's out there executing the plays? The quarterback. So who's going to get the blame when your team has a crazy lead and blows it? The guy that messed up on that onside kick gets the most blame, but right behind Matt Ryan.
They all sat there and looked at it. So
he has to get cut from that team, or he has to run 1,000 suicides, bro. He has to run 1,000 suicides.
That's bad, man.
1,120s.
Look, I do got a question though, man. This one it popped in my head today. Michael Vick.
Yeah.
He's not going to the Hall of Fame, man.
No. This is why I say my guy Michael Vick is not going to the Hall. This is why, right? Because you know how they are with the off the field things. I feel like that's going to play a big factor. Then they're going to look at his resume and say, "Oh, he doesn't really have the numbers, but the impact Michael Vick had on the game,
great impact.
The impact, but they don't see that they're going the rule. Listen, the goalpost changed, and this is shout out to Ocho Cinco because he said this. The goalpost change depended on the player that it is. So because Michael Vick, there's going to be no way in the world. But for some people, they're going to make it a little bit more easier for them to get into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Michael Vick and the impact he had and the good years that he had in this league, you can argue he deserves to be in there. But with the old rules and how they determine who they want in there, and the fact they're going to say, oh, he wasn't the best at his position, which at one point in time he was when he was at his prime. He was up there. But, they're not going to let Michael Vick in, which is sad. But the real ones know the impact he had on this game and the impact he had on people's lives and how great he was on that field from Atlanta, then coming into my Eagles and doing his thing. Man, we know about Mike Vick. That's all. We know about Mike Vick.
Dangerous man.
So comparing both games between the Atlanta Falcons, which upset is more upsetting? Not upset, turnover is more upsetting. Atlanta against Dallas, having that 20-point turnover in the first quarter, or New Orleans having a 10-0 lead and now lost 34-24.
That's tough. It's tough. Atlanta, because no, it's definitely Atlanta because it's the New Orleans game. It was 17-14 going in at halftime. It was 10-0 and stuff in the beginning of the game. So that's not that bad. That's NFL. People can come back, especially when it's 17-14 at halftime. But when I look at the Falcons and the Cowboys, they had that humongous lead in the fourth quarter. They let all those points go unanswered in the fourth quarter. That by far is the worst. That's the worst one, Big Shaw.
Yeah, I know. I can't even fight you on that one, bro. They sat there and they laid a goose egg. I'm still confused of why. They remind me of when Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. The fumble was right there in his face.
Yeah, but not. See, the difference is with them. No, that's not. Well, Cam's is bad because of the Super Bowl, but man, he was just watching it and telling people to back up, dive on that thing, pick it up. Yeah. That game impacted my Eagles. This is how I looked at it because when we lost against the Rams, and then I checked the score of the Cowboys game. I'm gonna be honest. I said, okay, the Cowboys about to lose. We're both 0-2. Man, I'm not going to trip. I'm not going to trip. We're both 0-2.
Yeah.
But then They got a miraculous comeback and they ruined everything.
They
It's
ruined it, man. It's horrible.
very horrible.
So just for clarification, accident. That wasn't because I was mad at his thing. I wasn't, but that was by accident leaving and joining back in. And I completely agree that they scored 20 points in the first quarter, and they were down 0-20 in the first quarter, and they came back. I'm referring to the Cowboys, and it was nothing just compared to that. So moving on to football, it takes which college football program is the best ever?
That's a tough one.
All the way. You can say Notre Dame, you can say Texas, but you know who I'm going with, baby. I gotta go to Bama, man. They wasn't at first. Now I'm not gonna, just throw it out there. Bama had a horrible program at first, and Saban got there. Saban cleaned house, man, and got that program to where it needs to be.
Yeah, Saban definitely did. They were, back in the day. Then they went through it, but Saban really made them into like a high school football player's dream. I'm going to play at Alabama. I'm going right to the league. But I'm gonna just throw some. Okay, I probably going to agree with Alabama, but where my heart is at, I gotta go with the U, Miami University, bro.
Oh man,
like that's like what they did in that time, the amount of talent and all the players they put out, from that 80s to the early 2000s to even to the mid 2000s up until now, that they're rejuvenating back to that team. I understand that they might not have, all the championships people say, but like Alabama, but that run they went on, man, that's crazy. And the U is close to the heart. Like if I was to ever pick a school, your dream school, I'm trying to go to the U, man. I'm talking about Ray Lewis, I'm talking about Ed Reed, I'm talking about rest in peace to Sean Taylor, Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne, Brown. The list can go on, and great players that went through there. And that program just went through, like that program from the 80s. Even the late 70s, where they started turning things around, to the early 80s, to the man. Like if it's not like, I think Bama is probably going to go down as the best one. But for me, in my heart, man, I gotta go with you.
Yeah, it can go. Man, it can go so many teams, man.
So many teams, bro.
Last year, if we went just off of like which team had the best year overall and like out of all the colleges, I would go with last year's LSU. I mean, that team averaged 4 touchdowns per game every single week, and that was just crazy. But if I had to go over like the best program in general, probably Alabama. But I'm a huge BYU fan.
Okay.
You were shaking your head, so you're like. I was just thinking about LSU. Last year, they were the best team. They were the best team, but it's just like, man, I don't know. I know you talking about last year, but I was just thinking because I bang with LSU too now. LSU got some of my guys. I'm talking about when Pat Pete was there, when Tyrann Mathieu was there. Odell and Jarvis Landry, they did their thing. But for me, the Honey Badger, one of my favorite college football players ever, man.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Leonard Fournette did his thing. Like some talent that came out of LSU. To me, it's tough. There's so many great college programs that you talking about the ones that have been great for long times now. Like Notre Dame has been just there. Oh, you got Oklahoma, Nebraska, like so many great programs. But I think you can argue that all day.
Yeah, we can.
Or some people also might argue for the best year about in the 1920s. Oklahoma State won against a school that I'm forgetting the name right now, but they won 222-0. That's not.
I'm gonna be honest.
Not possible.
I'm not giving no credit. Okay, I will say this. No, I'm sticking on my 10 toes, bro. I'm not. 1922, like compared to what these teams will do now. Stop it, man. They wouldn't even want to play when they see these boys coming out on the field. You know, no disrespect to them, no disrespect to the guys in 1922 and what they did to help make the game what it is today. Because a lot of those old school guys, they passed on from generation to generation to generation to where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying no school from the 1922s had any great season, man. I just can't. I can't do it. I cannot. That's too early in the sport compared to what they doing right now.
Yeah.
Even what they was doing back in the 50s and 60s, 70s. Crazy,
man.
So moving back to the NFL, who would you put as your best? Which NFL team had the best program?
Would like the who's the best franchise of all time?
Yeah.
So you got it. I think the only answer is okay. No, let me not say that. To me, New England, Pittsburgh. Then you have to say the Cowboys by default. They do have them rings. Even though out of those three teams, they're the only team that haven't won since the 1990s, the 1995. So I think those are the top three.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably missing some, but I think right now those are up there at the top three.
Yeah.
Green Bay,
San Francisco,
Green Bay,
and San Francisco. Those are the five. I know I was missing one. I think those for me are the five. You know, you can put it in the orders you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of leaning more towards New England one.
Yeah, I go.
If not for see, I knew I was missing one. It's right now between two. It's between San Fran and Pittsburgh. It's between them two for two, and then whoever's not two is three. Then I'm gonna play it like that. Nah, but I'm forgetting about Green Bay because Green Bay had a run back in the early days when it really started hitting the fan. You know, with Vince Lombardi. So those are tough. But I will say this: to me, those are the top five. If you're not saying NFL, you're just saying football teams.
Yeah,
NFL. You know, the Eagles have some football championships, but we only got one Super Bowl. I'll say that. To me, those are the top five best all-time franchises. When you look at them from when NFL started to now, there's a lot of franchises you could throw in the mix, but you know, in general, I think those are the consistent top five.
Yeah. I was thinking about Denver, but I said I don't know.
They're up there. They're one of those teams that you can throw in there. You can throw them in there, it's some teams you could throw in the mix. But to me, I think those are just the best top five.
Yeah.
The last 3 years for Denver were has this been the first consecutive 3 years that they have had a back-to-back losing seasons since the 80s, 70s. So yeah, I can see Denver being in there throwing the mix.
I was going on Super Bowls, mostly Super Bowls, but if you talking about it's been a lot of great teams that have been consistently good throughout their entire franchise, but just haven't won the big one. But to me, like you said, Denver has some Super Bowls now. They went to a whole bunch straight. You know, you can. It's some teams, but for me personally, I was just looking at. I was honestly the first time ever going all Super Bowls.
I would only not put New England in there because most of that was under one quarterback.
I mean, but still, San Francisco was but I understand with the Steve Young, but that was in one time era. You know,
that's true.
New England was great from the past 20 years.
Yeah,
the past 20 years, they literally ran the NFL. They went to 8 championships, won 6.
Right.
New England is up there when you talk about all time franchises because I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're up there. They're up there. I think they have the most, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, New England. Yeah.
New England has the most. New England has the most appearances, and they're tied the most for Super Bowl wins.
With Pittsburgh. Yeah. See, that's why I have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, that's a team right there, and out there.
They're also tied with They're also tied with Denver for the most Super Bowl losses. So. Who do you think is the worst franchise in the NFL?
Jacksonville. I'm not saying Buffalo because Buffalo went to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. So I can't. Me, Jacksonville, I think, is the worst. Jacksonville, and then Cleveland, and then Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a run in the 80s with Boomer Esiason. So they had a little run, and they had Ocho Cinco. But to me, I think the worst team by far has to be Jacksonville Jaguars. They had some players. Jacksonville has some players now. They had some players when they first came in, when they beat your Denver Broncos when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
They had some good wide receivers over there. They had Fred Taylor over there. They had Maurice Jones-Drew. They had some good, but they the worst franchise. Man, I can't think of any team off the top of my head right now that's worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Detroit. Oh yes, Drew, listen, Detroit's up there. Detroit and Jacksonville by far the worst franchises, man.
Only one playoff.
Detroit's cursed. If y'all don't know, Detroit's cursed. They're cursed, man.
Yeah, cursed.
I put a curse on them back in the day when they traded them. Detroit's cursed. Like they're not going to win, and they had some of the most talented Megatron and Barry Sanders, two of the most talented players to ever put on pads and walk on the NFL field, and they didn't build talent around them, man. That is Detroit and Jacksonville. I'm glad you said that. I couldn't think. Those to me are those y'all top two. Those are my top two.
It's Jacksonville for sure.
Detroit and Cleveland. Jacksonville's new. That's why I didn't put them up there.
They're new, but they've been bad since they've been bad ever since they came in. It's not like they went on a run. They've consistently been bad. So Cleveland, Cincinnati, Detroit, Jacksonville. We have to come up with a fifth to end the top five. We had to come up with a fifth.
Who else is hard?
The Jets, but then the Jets won the Super Bowl though. It won.
Yeah, but it was like in 1960s.
Jets.
I'm trying to think now. Can't say the Dolphins. We can't say the Dolphins.
Can't say the Panthers.
No, can't say them. Can't say the Giants.
We're gonna come up with a fifth. Yeah, we can't say the Giants.
Chargers, maybe.
But they had some great teams though. But they never won a big one. But they had some great teams, and the Chargers had some great teams.
The Chargers at all, but I'm trying. I'm thinking hard.
I'm thinking hard because it got to be somebody we had to end out the top five.
I mean,
it's going to have to be a team that won a Super Bowl before. The Buccaneers. That's what we were forgetting. The Buccaneers. I'm sorry, the Buccaneers. I know they won a Super Bowl, but man, they never. One thing about the Buccaneers, they're the only NFL team that never have a franchise quarterback until they had Tom Brady. They never had a franchise quarterback. They won their Super Bowl. They had a little run. But this is a team that has the worst record, I believe, in the NFL. If I'm not mistaken. The Buccaneers are in the worst franchises of all time. I knew I was forgetting the team. The Buccaneers.
Well, the one problem with that is that Tom Brady is in there towards the end of his career. Would you really consider
Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever put on a Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform and play? Steve Young was on there. Okay. Steve Young was on there, but he was gone. He out of here. He didn't get a chance to play like how Tom Brady's about to play with the weapons and team that Tom Brady's had.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I would consider more of Tom Brady to be a New England franchise quarterback.
No. I'm saying I'm saying of course he's going to be known for New England, but Tampa Bay has never had a great quarterback on their team to play and to try to lead them anywhere that's going to play consistent. Steve Young had nobody around him. The quarterback, I can't even think of his name, that won the Super Bowl with them. They had a great defense. Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever put on this uniform and be able to play like how he's about to play. No disrespect to Steve Young. I think Steve Young is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time, but Tom Brady is the best one.
He is. They
never had a franchise quarterback, man.
They got one now.
Yeah, they do.
What is the biggest bust in sports history?
Ryan Leaf. No.
We talking about, oh yeah, he's up there. We talking about teams or we talking about players? What's the criteria here?
That's just what the question says. So I'm just gonna go say teams.
Let's go teams and players. Let's do both. Let's do because this is a good one. I like that Ryan Leaf one. That was a little bit before my time, but me, I'm just a researcher. So, and I watched a lot of NFL Network. They had the top 10 things, and they said he's one of the worst busts of all time. Man.
Yeah. You young. That was before your time. I remember when he got drafted. Mm-hmm. His dad, Eli Manning's dad, said, "My son ain't going to San Diego."
Yeah.
If we weren't been for that, man, history is crazy, man. And he was a bust. As soon as he signed that contract, man, Ron Lee started going crazy.
What about Sam Bradford? Do y'all consider Sam Bradford a bust?
Man, I think
he's just going to stay healthy. I think he's good, just going to stay healthy.
He was like blown, he'd be hurt. And Jamarcus Russell was another bust.
Oh yeah, he was a bust. Blake Bortles bust. Mitchell Trubisky, to me, I think he's always going to be linked to the. That was one of the worst picks of all time. They picked him over Mahomes, who had a great college career. Deshaun Watson, who literally was in the national championship 2 straight years, and you pick Mitchell Trubisky, man. I think switching over to the NBA, I'm going to say this Clippers team is an all-time bust team for all the hype and talent they had around them to lose in the second round to go a 3-1 lead. This is one of the biggest bust teams of all time. And then players, Anthony Bennett is up there. Is one of the biggest busts of all time. Anthony Bennett's up there. And then who else? Kwame Brown's a bust.
Yeah, Kwame Brown. I'm trying to think of he was supposed to be good. I'm trying to think of his name. It's not Isaiah Ryder. Yeah, he was
Isaiah Ryder was a dog.
Not Isaiah Ryder. I'm trying to think. Once his name come to mind, I bring it up.
What team he played for?
Huh?
What team he played for?
He played for I think it was Portland. I think it was Portland.
Greg Oden?
Yeah.
But Greg Oden had injuries though. Greg Oden was worthy of that number 1 pick, but he had injuries. If he stayed healthy, he was gonna be a dog. Same thing to take it back all the way before my era, but I'm Mr. Researcher. Sam Bowie got picked before Michael Jordan, but Sam Bowie was a very good player that was supposed to fit. Dude just had injuries. That was the same thing with Greg Oden. He just so had, but he was very good, man. Greg Oden was a baller. He just knee injuries, man. They just killed big man.
Man, that see, I didn't hook that question up. I thought about. I said, but I say Christopher Freddie will spice it up for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of bust, man. Like players and teams. It like do y'all consider the Rams? No, well they went to the Super Bowl, but only 3 points in the Super Bowl though. That's bad.
That's horrible.
Bad.
They went to the Super Bowl, but they also won one against the Titans. Which you
no. I'm talking about I'm not saying the franchise. I'm saying the team. Like that 20. That 20. Was that 18 or 19? That's
2018. Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying that 20. I'm saying that team specifically was a bust team, not the franchise. Just that specific year.
Yeah, but I know one player he popped up, but I know Brandon Roy. I don't think you remember Brandon Roy.
I know Brandon Roy wasn't a bust. Brandon Roy is my favorite player.
Yeah, he was great.
He was knee injury because Kobe gave him his just due, saying he was one of the best in the league. Yeah. Ron Artest said he's one of the hardest guys to guard in the league. Mm-hmm. If Brandon Roy didn't get injured, he was going to be. Yeah, he was gonna be that. People think CJ McCollum is nice. Brandon Roy was way better, taller, and more athletic.
Cool. And I can't say D Rose was a bust.
Because of injuries.
So yeah.
Would you consider the New York Knicks as a franchise being a bust?
No.
Nah, no. Legends went through that.
They had legends. They just so happened to go against MJ. I mean, you had Pat Riley coaching that team full of dogs. Oh, they overachieved, to be honest, because how many dogs they had on that roster. The list, I can go on and on about the dogs they had on that team. And then even
the Knicks. That was number legends on this court, man.
And then back in the day, they had legends on there back in the day. I know they haven't won a championship since the 70s, but you're talking about some all-timers. And then even the early 2000s, I think they messed up, but I don't think they're a bust of a franchise. If I want to say bust of a franchise in the NBA, now I gotta think.
Oh, who's the bust in the NBA franchise?
Timberwolves is up there.
Memphis. Memphis. There.
I don't say Memphis because Memphis had a run. And they were just hurt by injuries. The Clippers are a bust of the franchise. That's number one. You're talking about a team that blew Timberwolves and
the NBA has some
Clippers. Timberwolves and the Clippers to me are one.
Now, I know I keep going back and forth here, but Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, who would you put as a better quarterback?
That can go all night long with them two, man. He can go back and forth. I put a question up one time on my page. Who was the best, and everybody said, depending on what you got going on, everybody picked Peyton Manning over Tom Brady. Peyton, that's my man. He grew up here. He's a Louisiana guy, so I couldn't go against him. Peyton, he throw them interceptions now. He'll force that ball, but he won you some games, and he got the monkey off his back. I got to go with my boy Peyton Manning, bro.
See that's tough. I love Peyton what he did his career, but when I look at the head-to-head matchups, if I'm not mistaken, Tom Brady is victorious in that, especially when he was in Indianapolis. I'm gonna have to go with Tom, just off the fact that they played against each other. And I saw what happened when they went against. Nothing against Peyton Manning and what he did with the Colts and what he did that one year with the Broncos. Nothing against him, and it hurts me to say Tom Brady. It hurts me to say this. But it's Tom Brady on this one, man. I just believe it's the boy Terrific Tom now. That's his name, Terrific Tom.
Yeah. Tom is the man.
There is no argument that Tom Brady is the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history.
Not
but
the best.
which one's better? Which one's better? Reputation on and off the field, got to go with Peyton. We saw what happened in the game before the Super Bowl against Seattle. And then off the field, I would still go with Peyton Manning.
Yeah, off the field, Peyton Manning is a terrific guy, but I was just going off, just because they played each other, who I would pick. But I will say this: you said a great thing. The most accomplished quarterback is Terrific Tom. Just to give a quick update, the Lakers are losing 44 to 30 right now.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. I just want to, and it's second quarter too. But back to this topic, you said something great, seeing the most accomplished quarterback. Because when you want to say talent, Tom Brady's not even in. I don't even think in the top 10.
No, not in
talented quarterbacks. He's not in the top 10. I might be stretching it, but off the top of my head, I think I can name 10 more talented quarterbacks than Tom Brady. Nothing against him and his greatness and how accomplished he is, but when I say greatest player, I'm talking about what they did. If you want to say who had the best career, then say that. When you say who's the greatest player, then I'm going off their talent. So I'm not mad at you for picking Peyton on that.
Oh yeah.
Just to wrap that up.
So should student athletes, both in the football or basketball or whatever sport they play, should they be paid?
Let me take this. I'm in college right now, man. You gotta let me go first. And I'm gonna try not to get myself in trouble by saying this. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Did a lot of papers on this, some TED Talks on this. I think this is a very serious issue. I think, especially, at any level, but I'm just going to try to keep it short and simple without getting myself in too much trouble. I do believe they should get paid, especially for the ones that are not able to have a job. Your sport is your job when you're in college. You eat, sleep, and breathe your sport. You wake up, you practice during the day, practice at night, study hall. A lot of players athletes don't have the time to get a job. So that's hurting them because they don't have no money. But if they didn't have, and they want to say, oh, we're paying for your, your education. Well, not all athletes are on full-time scholarships.
That's right.
They're not, you have partials, you have, walk-ons. Not every scholarship is fully paid. So with that being said, I do think college athletes should get paid. I don't, not to say that somebody in Alabama should get paid somebody as much as somebody in D3. But I think if schools are making a profit, they should look out for these athletes. There's no reason why these athletes should be hungry at night. There's no reason why these athletes don't have shoes, don't have big winter jackets, don't have the things that they should have when they're going out and doing these things for their sports. These things should be provided for them. They should always have hot meals. They should always have clothes. They should never struggle for anything. That's why you see a lot of these players, especially in the big D1 schools. I know Miami has some issues. A lot of schools have some issues. They're saying guys were accepting gifts. Well, when you come from a bad background and you don't have the money, but you're playing for a big, and look at the NCAA, how much money they make. You're playing, and even the universities, you're playing for these big universities in NCAA that's making billions off you. Why are you wrong for accepting some money when you don't have it? But you're producing that money by doing your job, which is playing for your sport, but you don't have the necessary things like, the clothes, the food. Man, the college athletes should get paid for all the things that they do, to all the things, how long the sport is, how much time they have to put into the sport. They should get paid somewhat. Not saying $100,000 each player, but each player should get a little stipend.
Yeah, I agree. You got to think about, man, how much money these colleges make, man, when they go to these championships, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl,
so much money.
And you got guys really, starving, after the game. You know, they go back to their dorm room. They don't got no food in their icebox. Why you think these guys accept the gifts? And his star players doing it too, because they don't, they don't have no money. You know, they can't even get a job. They have to football class, and they go and they do what they want. You know, if somebody come up to you 18, 19-year-old kid, you grew up, never had nothing. They tell you, hey man, you want $20,000 or 30, whatever, the thing may be. They're gonna take that money.
It's not even the big money. It's just like you want $20 to get some pizza. Even they say that's illegal, which makes no sense. Yeah, bro, I'm hungry right now, and I can't get money to get some pizza. But my university making millions and billions off me is not going to feed me, give me some extra meals. That just makes no sense. And you can't. And the thing is, you can't even make money off yourself. They're selling your jerseys, your face, your likeness, and they're making money off you, but you can't capitalize off that. That to me is like, I think if they're selling jerseys, say they sell jerseys at colleges, which, I know a lot of people are going to buy some players' college jerseys. Each player, I feel like, should get a percentage off themselves.
They should get something.
Yes.
So, I just to add on, I'm forgetting the name of the job. There's people out there that are in college that are getting paid. They're not getting paid a lot, but this still kind of proves my point. They're getting paid, just to go help out with the school, and they have time to go. They might have time to go do a second job or whatever, depending on how many classes they take. And they have more time on their hands than these college athletes do. And these college athletes, they don't get paid, yet they do. The people that are helping out with things in the school. So was it Phil Jackson or the players?
Oh, go ahead, Big Shaw. Go ahead, Big Shaw.
What he said? I couldn't hear him.
Was it Phil Jackson or the players?
Man, that's a good question. I wrote that down. That's a good question. I gotta go with my boy Phil, man. Phil was the wizard, man. I don't care what nobody say, but I always had a dream. I said, man, what about if Phil Jackson, and Pat Riley was on the same coaching staff?
Oh my God.
I said, man, you know what that'll be. You know what'll happen. But that's something that we'll probably never see. But I go with Phil Jackson, man. I'd be a fool to say anybody else.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's Phil Jackson. I mean, you look at it, what the Bulls were without Phil Jackson being a head coach. No disrespect to Doug Collins, no disrespect to any other head coach, but let's be honest, they could not win. They could not get past the Pistons. They were struggling. Mm-hmm. You look at LA. I mean, Shaq and Kobe played together 4 years before, or at least 2 years before Phil came in.
Yeah,
they had some time together. It was Phil. Then you look at when Phil wasn't in LA, Kobe was by himself. Phil came back. It's Phil, man. No disrespect to how great those players were, but it's hard to win in the NBA without a great head coach. I'm going to put it like that, because in the playoffs, that's when the coach shows their value. That's when they play chess, not checkers. In the regular season, you can let your players do what they want. You can let the superstars be superstars, but in the playoffs, you see what happened to Giannis, right? Giannis is quote unquote. I don't agree with this, and I hope Big Shaw doesn't agree with this, but a lot of people say Giannis is the best player in the league. But Giannis went against a great coach in Eric Spoelstra that exposed him by putting together a great game plan and putting a big body to guard him and building a wall around him, exposing the many flaws in his game. In the regular season, they're going to let Giannis do everything he wants to do. They're going to let him get to the paint, travel all he wants. But in the playoffs, they're going to do what they have to do to stop him. When I look at Phil Jackson, the schemes and how great he was inserting that triangle position, getting the best out of all his players, and not even just on the court, off the court, how he got along with his players, how he helped motivate his players. He was a wizard. Phil Jackson is one of a kind. It's always going to be Phil Jackson. Those players know they were not winning those championships without arguably the greatest head coach of all time in Phil Jackson.
That's right.
So the next question is, could the super team beat the 1995 to 1996 Bulls?
What super team?
My bad. That was.
I mean, let's throw it out there. You want to say we can go the only. First of all, let's be honest. There's only one super team, and that's the Warriors. The Warriors, head to toe, had a better roster. So, okay, if you want to say everybody wants to, let me go quick. Everybody wants to say Miami was a super team. Their roster does not compare to Golden State. For one, everybody in Golden State are in their prime. D Wade was battling with injuries. I know he showed up big, in big games, but after those 3-4 runs, D Wade was not there no more. He wasn't the same superstar player D Wade was. Chris Bosh still had some game in him, but sadly the blood clots happened. But that was after LeBron. That was after LeBron left. But when you want to, so the only super team to me is the Warriors because everybody was in their prime. They went 73-9, then added Kevin Durant. Yeah. So if you're talking about, let's talk about this Warrior super team.
Dangerous.
I think they can beat. Now, what rules are we playing? We playing with old school rules or new school rules?
Oh, the old school rules. We know who's gonna win that one.
I will say, yeah, we do know who's gonna win that. But I will say, I think Draymond, Kevin Durant, and Clay can hold their own in old school rules. I have to question Steph Curry, not taking away from his greatness, but when you got Derek Harper that can hand check you, when you have MJ, when you have, even Dennis Rodman probably would like, yo, let me get him. Even Scottie Pippen, they're hand checking you, that can push you where you want to go. Then I think Steph might have a problem. But those other guys, listen, Kevin Durant was a 7-foot assassin. He is a 7-foot assassin. Draymond Green can play in any era. Yeah. Same thing with Klay Thompson. Klay's a dog. Not saying he's going to strap up Michael Jordan, but I'm saying he's going to go out there and try his best. He's not going to let Michael Jordan get any good, great, any. He's not going to let Michael Jordan do his thing. He's going to make it tough for MJ. So I do think. I'm sorry. I do think the super team playing in new school rules could beat them. Old school rules. I'm probably going to go Bulls. I think I'm going Bulls old school rules, but new school. But if you're not going old school rules, you let them play. Then I think the Warriors have a chance. I do.
Yeah.
So one final thing before we wrap this all up. Thursday night, who do you got? I'm gonna give this to Chris first.
Thursday night. Who's playing Thursday? Refresh my memory.
Dolphins and Jags.
I'm taking the Dolphins, but I will say this: the Jags have been playing very, very good behind the boy Minshew. They've been playing good behind him. I still think it's, they're in a little tanking phase right now. Don't know who they're going to draft. Don't know if they're going to get a quarterback because how much they love Minshew. But hey, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields up there, I'm taking them two over Minshew any day. But I'm taking Miami. I think they have a better roster. I do. If everybody's healthy, all the additions they made in all season, I think Miami's a very good team. And if they competed like that against the Bills, then I think they're going to have their way against Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. That's the only pick that makes sense to go at Jacksonville. They're playing pretty good. I don't like to admit it. That Minshew fella, he is doing good, but I think it's a fluke. I don't think it's going to last too long. And with Trevor Lawrence, since Jacksonville's winning some games, I can see him going to the Jets because the Jets are straight garbage. So I can see him going to the Jets. But I'm going to go with Jacksonville in the close game. I think they need to start Tua for the Dolphins. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. Good Tua in the game.
Too early for me.
You think it's too early?
Only because, I understand throwing a quarterback to a fire, but if they say he could be 100%, but if he's not 150%, I need him to be in the best shape of his life before I throw him out there. Yeah. Then I want him to learn behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick is a Hall of Famer, but he's a quality starter in this league that has some good runs in this league. Learn behind him and wait till Ryan Fitzpatrick has a drop off. To me, he hasn't. The first game he played bad. Second game he played decent. I'd say give it 4 games, then assess. Give it 2 games, then assess. Another 2 games, then assess. By week 8, if you're not loving what you're seeing from Ryan Fitzpatrick and your boy Tua is out there healthy, 150% ready to go, then I say, hey, throw him in the fire. But Ryan Fitzpatrick has a great year, doesn't have a drop-off. Even if they have a bad season, I say, listen, Tua, you learn, make sure 150%, and next year I'm giving you the keys.
Yeah.
But right now, I just don't – nothing against, Tua. I just think you want to try to, look long-term a little bit.
Yeah.
And the playing him right now is long term, but is he 155% healthy?
He just 100%. Yeah.
So you bring up the point about we saw how Miami did against the Buffalo Bills, but you could make that on the flip side too. We saw how what Jacksonville did against Tennessee, only losing by 3 points. Well, he's only lost by 3 points, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just, they both. I'll say this: for two trash teams, which they are, let's not call it spade. Let's call it spade. They're two trash teams. They both have played very, very good this season. But if you ask me to pick between two of the bums, I'm going with, to my opinion, a team who I thought was going to be very underrated this year because of the additions they made in the offseason in Miami. That's just my take on that.
I'm going Jacksonville. I say 28-26. That's all. That's all I have. We had Chris say give your last 30-second wrap up. Say what you got to say.
Oh man, great show tonight. Great topics. Great topics. Every topic was loved to talk about. I will say this: Lakers still down 14, but hey, it's the first half. Yeah. Will anybody eat humble pie if the Nuggets win this game? No, because I said the Nuggets have the capability to pushing this till 7. Right. But I still said Lakers in 6. So if the Nuggets win, will I be worried? No, I gotta watch the rest of the game, assess it at the end. But man, very good show tonight, guys. Loved it. Can't wait for the next one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you got LeBron James on the court. You always gonna be in the game.
Always.
And the show was great. Everything was good. The topics was good. I wish we can go a little bit longer, but I know we got to shut it down. But can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Just saying, just so you know, if the Nuggets win this game, then the broom, which I will about to pull up.
I didn't say sweep. Only one.
Big Shaw did. Big Shaw did. If the Nuggets win, then that broom will be broken. That broom will be broken.
As long as you got LeBron James and AD, but LeBron James is a man. If he go full beast mode,
they have no shot. They have no shot if that man goes full beast mode.
And just letting you know that Philadelphia Eagles pick against the Cincinnati Bengals was not the only upset that I have for week 4. Stay tuned for Thursday to see what else.
Oh, I like that.
That's all I had. This is Nate the Great, Chris Brown, Big Shaw, closing out for now.
Peace.